Hey you guys, I gotta shake the camera. Welcome back to my channel. It's Tiana with Story House Books. As usual, yes, it is Sunday, Series Sunday, and we are getting back to our Grungy Folio recreate here. If you hear some noise in the background, that is my cat. She has found a leaf, and she loves dried leaves. I don't know. Go figure. So here we are with our Grungy Folio here, and let's get back to where we were. We ended here, working on this panel here. And what we've got here are a couple of envelopes here, yeah? That flip up, yes, flip out, right? Got a couple pockets here that we did some stitching on, yeah? Gotta start training these little flips here. They're getting a little out of control. They're not being straight like I want them to be. Here we go. Okay. Once you put some ephemera and give them some weight, they'll be fine. Until then, we just got to keep training them, right? Anywho, let's see here. So if your gusts start doing this, where they're kind of laying like not even, just start training them, right? It's no big deal. Once you start putting some ephemera in here, it'll give them some weight and they'll start behaving. Okay. But what I'm doing right now is I'm just starting to work on the folds here to get it to sit straight, right? Here we go. Okay. Anywho, so what we're going to work on tonight, we're going to keep going here. And we're going to work on the inside of this panel. Yeah? So right there. Okay. Behave. Anywho, it's been sitting a while, so I got to start retraining it a little bit to behave. Here we go. Anyway, sorry. Tonight we're going to work on these inside pieces here. So we've got up here, we're going to recreate, there was a grungy coin envelope that I did here. It was a pre-made coin envelope that I got from Dollar Tree that I sprayed with some distress inks and whatnot. And we used that as a side loader pocket. We can recreate that or we can do something different. I haven't decided yet. But it's still going to be a coin envelope up here, right? On these inside of these flaps here, we're going to have two of these pre-made frames that I have that'll fit here. Let's see, this size, I'm going to go smaller. I think I might go smaller. That size fits though. I also have this size. Main frame, make sure you guys can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so I've got two of these. The larger of the two measures, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by a little over, about 3 1/4. So 5 by 3 1/4 for this one. And then for this one, this is the smaller of the two. And this one is 3 1/2 by almost 4 1/2, right? They both fit within the stitching, which what I like to do. It's not going to impede on the fold, either one. So I think we'll go with the larger one of the two. Yeah. We're going to use the larger one. And we are going to do some stenciling on it. But what I'm also going to do is show you guys how to make these if you don't have... Well, I need another one. Where'd the other ones go? Uh-oh. Is that the last one I have? I think those might be the last two that I have. That might be... Oh, no. I have to order some more of these. Or make some, like I'm going to show you guys how to do. So, if you don't have these pre-made ones, and I get these from Temu, okay? They don't have any acetate in them. They're just paper frames, okay? I get them in all different sizes. I usually get them in black and the craft color ones, this color. Like I said, I get them in all different sizes, all the way up to the largest ones I have are this size here, which is, let's see, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 by 5, I think. 5 by 7s? Yeah, 5 by 7s. So I get that like from this little tiny one or the other little tiny one. This little 3 by 4 1/2, all the way up to this size. Like I said, I get them from Temu. Always have. And I'll put the link to those in the description below. Yeah? Make sure I write this down. Frame links. Alright, so we're also going to do a couple other things with this. Like I said, I'm going to show you how to make these without without them being pre-made. I'm going to show you two different ways. One with a die cut machine and one basically from scratch by hand. That's probably going to take up most of our time, is showing you how to make these without, making them from scratch, right? We're also going to do distressing the acetate that's going to go in here. Now, I was going to use just normal acetate and then just distress that. Then I forgot. Why don't we just use the Tim Holtz shattered glass If you don't have that, don't worry about it. Just use regular acetate, okay? But we are going to use Tim Holtz Shattered Glass. What did I do with it? Did I bring it over here after all that noise? I'm trying to find it. Oh, I found it. And it's knocked everything over to get to it. Ugh. This right here, we're going to use the Shattered Glass here. I was looking for the brown version, the Halloween version, because it's actually a little tinted. But I don't know where. I think I stored it. I think I stored it with the rest of my Halloween gear. Put it away. But we'll use this. You don't have to use this. You can use regular acetate or plastic, or you don't have to use anything at all. Just leave it open like that. Yeah, you can do that too. But so that's what we're going to do, and we're going to distress that with some alcohol ink. I'm going to be using caramel alcohol ink. This is by Ranger, Tim Holtz. Yeah, so we're going to be using this. You don't have to do this. Okay, so, this is just something extra I want to show you guys how to do. And then I've been practicing. So I think that might take up most of our time is these two panels here. If we get to it, we may, since I have my die cut machine out, this one panel down here, this one down here, is going to have, it's going to be a side loading pocket with a frame cut out. And then we're going to distress the acetate in this one as well. Up here, or in the middle here, we're going to be doing some stacked torn pockets with whale tail tabs, right? So that'll be the inside, and that'll finish this panel before we move to the next one. So let's see how far we get, and let's start with these guys. This will take most of our time. Now, before I can start, a little update on the lab book. Now, I did tell you guys that it was already sold, which is, it is spoken for. But I've come across a little bit of an issue with it that I need to talk with the new owner about before I film the next episode. I may have to make an alteration. Because if you have been making yours with me, you may have noticed in Storyville that we're getting a little chunky monkey, right? So a decision needs to be made, and I can't make the decision without the new owner. So once that decision is made, I'm going to do if there's alterations to be made, I'm going to be doing them on camera. It scares me a little bit to be, doing alterations like this. It could be major on camera, but you guys deserve to see what I'm doing, especially if it's something that I'm having to alter or an issue that I'm having to mitigate or deal with. I'm going to show you how to do that, right? Remember, don't panic, just adapt, which is what this is going to be. This will be an exercise in. So once I talk to the owner, we'll get back to the lap book series. We'll start back up. Also, you guys that have been with me for a while know, maybe you don't, some of you don't know, or if you're new, I have a day job and a night job. So here right now, it's been super busy for me, and I won't get into some of the particular details tonight. Maybe I will on another video. But I'm having to really focus on that right now, which is why you may not see all the videos for the weekend. I know I've been kind of like hit or miss already with some of my personal things that have been going on, which those of you, again, who have been with me for a while may already know about. But I've been dealing with that and with work, and I'm not going to get into it right now, but it's taking up a lot of my time. So a very good friend of mine, Julie, I'm talking about you, convinced me that I need to focus on that. So I will still be doing content. I'm going to be doing the best that I can, but I can't commit to all 3 days. No matter how hard I try. I just can't. I've got to focus on some other things first, get that stuff straight, and then I will come back and figure out a better schedule so I can get to you guys the content that you're wanting to see. So, with that being said, I will do at least one every weekend. I want to try to focus on the lap book and the Grungy Folio and get those projects done. Not so much on the Let's Make Stuff Fridays. Because we've been doing the other projects forever, right? So, this is a long intro. I'm sorry. I just want to give you guys that update. So, starting next weekend, we're going to go hopefully back into the lap book and the Grungy Folio. Yeah. We're going to continue with those and get those to completion. And then we're going to work on a junk journal by request. We're going to go back to a junk journal and start that series. But anywho, let's get started on this as I keep rambling and see what we're going to do here. So let's start with these first. We're going to use the Tim Holtz Shattered Glass. What did I do with it? I just had it. What did I do with it? Throw it back in the box. Okay. So we're going to use this inside of here. But before we get to that, we're going to do some either stenciling. I thought about doing texture paste. Now, If you don't have it, it's fine. You don't have to do it. You can do stencils. If you don't have stencils, you don't have to do it either. You can decorate this with book page or scraps, make it collage, whatever. It is up to you. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing, okay? I haven't decided. So in the original Grungy Folio, I did stenciling. And I've been playing with texture paste a lot lately. And texture paste and with Foundry Wax, right? To give it a metallic gilded look. And I'm wondering if I want to do that with this. And do some sort of texture on here, and then go over that with Foundry Wax. Kind of make, step it up a little bit. Which is what I think I want to do. It's either that or we stencil using some of the distressed mica sprays. That may kind of match the coloring that we're doing, because we're going pretty bright, right? As far as grunge, we're using the abandoned, which gets pretty bright. Now, I have some of these in the mica stain colors, which is another option. What do I think? Let's make a decision here. I think, you know what? I think we're going to stick with this, with color, right? And go, man, I really want to use that copper Foundry Wax, but I don't know if that would go really with this, in the direction we've been going so far. So let's do this. We're going to try it with the mica stains. If I don't like it, we'll change it. Yeah? So let me grab those, and we'll get started with that part first. Yeah? All right. 1 second. Okay, and we're back. So we're going to grab the stencil that I want to use for this one. And we're going to use this one. Actually, I don't even remember where I got this. I think I got it at Temu forever ago. But because of some of the patterns with the abandoned, like this one right here, if you guys can see that, it's kind of got this little, cubic kind of like deal. So I thought we'd go with that here. Why not, right? So let's see. I picked out a couple of colors that we're going to use for this, and I picked out Tim Holtz's Uncharted Mariner, Distress Oxide, and then this one here. This is Rustic Wilderness. Yeah, you guys see that? Rustic Wilderness. Both of those are distressed oxides, yeah? So let me grab something to do this on. We'll use this scrap paper here. And all I'm going to do is, the first thing I'm going to do is put some scrap paper inside here, because I don't want the color to get on the back of here, yeah? So let me just grab some book page and throw that in there. Here we go. Just fold it real quick. Or just tear it. How about we just tear it? Just see enough for it to cover the window there. And then we'll do one up here. That'll do. Okay. And I'm just going to put this on the inside here. Get in there. Try and get in the bottom part. There we go. Cool beans. All right, we'll do this one next. Okay. So all we're going to do is grab my dauber and one of these here. We'll start with the blue Mariner here. And let's just do this here. I think I want more of the smaller squares here. So I'm going to do like this. There we go. Now you can pick whatever stencil you'd like. This is just the one I picked. Okay, I want to cover the whole thing. So let's sit still. Damn it. There we go. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go around the edges, I think, and then do the green on the inside. Yeah? So let's just do that. I'm going to just kind of roll around here. And just, in a circle, all the way around. Try to keep the stencil straight, yeah? And keep it from moving as much as possible. going to switch to the Rustic Wilderness here. And put this back, line this back up. Now you can use tape to keep it down if you'd like. I just didn't. There we go. Is that right? Pretty close. Come on. Oh, darn it. Now I got it all cattywampus, don't I? That's okay. Supposed to be grungy anyway, right? Not perfect. There we go. Now this time I'm going to just do the inside here. And the green, try to blend it in with the blue Mariner, right? All right, let's see how that looks. That'll work. That'll work for sure. What do you guys think? Yeah? No? Maybe so? Let's see, how does that look on camera? Looks pretty good. Let's pull this out. And then this is what we got. I like it. And it goes with the blues and the, you know, the greens and stuff with the other papers. So let's put that one aside for now. And let's do the other one real quick. I want to keep that on. I'll use that for something. And the same thing. We're just going to line this on here. Or lay this on here, rather. And just line it straight and go back to the blue Mariner here. Or the Uncharted Mariner, rather. And again, I just want to keep this straight as possible. And just go around little semicircles all the way around, yeah? Okay, I think that's good there. Alright, let's switch. I'm going to hold the stencil down this time. Do that. A little of that. And do the inside this time. I think that's good. A little bit more down here at the bottom, I think. And on this side. And there we go. Cool beans. I think I'm happy with that now that my fingers are all blue and green. And there we go. That works for me. What do you guys think? I thought about bringing some of the mica spritzes over. I might do that later. I don't know. Maybe. Because there is some gold in some of that paper. And it might brighten it up a little bit. What do you guys think? What I'm worried about is that the spritz hits it, since these are oxides, that it changes the color. Something that I don't want. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I don't know. We're going to leave it as it is. Alright. Moving on. Let's move the stencil out of the way. Put these back so I don't lose my little dauber heads. So these are just, I just have the little Velcro dots on here, and it holds my little daubers on the back of that when I store it. Okay, put that over there, that over there, get this out of the way, and I'm gonna go wash this off my hands real quick before I get it on anything. Alright, so let's go ahead and do the window part here. And if you're gonna use the shattered glass, real simple, we're just gonna cut it to fit, yeah? I mean, there's two different styles here. I really don't care which one we use, honestly. So I'm going to put one style in one and the other style in the other, yeah? Okay, let me see if I can cut this here. So I'm gonna put this over the top here, and just grab my scissors. So I want this kind of more down here. Let's flip it around. I don't want it like that. I think I want it right there, actually. Okay. Just grab some scissors, 1 second. All right. Hold that in place there. Just gonna cut off the excess here. Here we go. And down here at the bottom. Maybe a little more, just a smidge. There we go. Think that'll work? Let's see. Just slide this in here. Maybe. Too wide? No, we're good. And there we go. That's gonna be this one here. I'm gonna glue that in just a second. And this one, I'm gonna flip it this way. Yeah, there we go. And again, I'm just gonna cut off the excess here. Yeah, there we go. Make sure this fits as well. And then we're gonna bring out some alcohol ink and we're gonna play with that. There we go. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is bring out some alcohol ink. I'm going to distress the acetate to make a rusty kind of well, caramel color, right? So this is what we're using. This is Tim Holtz Ranger alcohol ink and caramel. Yeah, here we go. You see that? Got it? Okay. Let me write that down so I don't forget to put it up there in the description. Ink and caramel. Yeah. And we're going to apply it to the acetate and it'll dry. And then it'll give this nice kind of grungy look to it. And then I'm actually going to take this over to my heat gun and apply some heat. It'll warp the acetate a little bit too. It'll give it a kind of cool look as well. So let me grab some scrap paper again. And for this, you're going to need the alcohol ink itself, right? And then I'm going to use a alcohol ink applicator. If I can find out where I did it. Here we go. This guy here, this little rectangle dude with a little pad here. Normally I just drip it on there, but I wanted to try it this way and see what happens. So from what I've seen, they just take this and they apply it to the pad itself. That's what we're going to do. And then rub it on whatever. Right? Like that. Oh, that's like a lot smoother than dripping it on there. And there we go. Just gonna move that off to the side. Let me show you against some white paper what it looks like. Like that. Can you see that? What it looks like? That's what we're going for, yeah? I'm gonna put a little more on here, actually. Right there. I'm gonna kind of move it around and make it a little muddled, actually. There we go. Like that a little bit. A little grungier, yeah? Yeah. Okay, let's put that aside to dry. Then we'll do the other one. I'm going to do it on white so I can see it a little bit better. See if there's any more on here. Oh, there is. Okay, let's do this. Use what we got on here. Put that cover on so it doesn't evaporate. Now you can put it on here and it's when it's still wet, you can blow it around a little bit to give it some little bit of texture to it or whatnot. So this one looks like that. Let's see if we missed any spots. I don't think we did. Right there, maybe. Here we go. I like that. What do you guys think? See, easy peasy, real quick. We'll put this aside to dry. It'll dry pretty quickly. Let me see, the other may be actually maybe dry already. Let's check it. Pretty close. A little sticky, but we can go ahead and put it in. All right, so carefully, I'm going to put this in here. Just slide it in. Just like that. And then I'm going to use art glitter glue to seal it in there. Now, what I'm going to do is actually do it from the front. I'm going to bow out the frame a little bit so I can get underneath the little edge. And then just put the alcohol or the glue on the very edges of the acetate here. Just a little thin bead, you don't need much. And I just put just enough. I only go down the sides and the top. Yeah. And then just press that down, like so. Just gonna flip it over and press down here like that. So I can make sure I didn't glue it shut. There's a little bit of glue right there. And then we are good to go. All right, what do you guys think? You guys see that? Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. All righty, let's do the other one. I think that one should be dry. Yeah, we're good. Okay, slide this in here. Make sure it's all the way down to the bottom there. It is. All right, same thing here. I'm going to bow up squeeze the frame itself, just bow it up a little bit. And again, a thin bead on the edges here. You don't need much. Come on, glue, come out. There we go. And then underneath the lip here, on both sides. Okay, press that down. Flip this over, press down like that. And we are good to go with these two. Yeah? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Those are done. Now, we could take it, like I said earlier, with the heat gun, put some heat to it, and it'll actually warp the acetate. I may or may not do that, but for this exercise, we're not going to do that right now, I don't think. Just for time. For sake. Actually, you know what? Let me go do it, because I always say I'm going to show you guys every single step. So let me go grab my heat gun, or go take it to the heat gun. All I'm going to do is run the heat gun over the top of this. It's going to warp it, kind of like make it look all wavy and stuff. Okay? I'll be right back. Alright, you guys, I went back and took my heat gun, and like I said, it warped the acetate just a little bit, if you guys can see that. Kind of like, distresses it a little bit more. So while I was sitting there doing that, what caught my eye was I'm looking at these, and I'm like, they look a little plain, and they need a little something, right? And I was like, it needs something, and I was thinking maybe something gold or something metallic, right? So what I was looking at was, I went and found my Foundry Wax, and I've got Gilded here, which is kind of, the gold metallic. And then I've got, this one is called Statue. It's a little bit more on the coppery side, not quite. But I'm thinking I want to do some brush strokes in these on here. On these. And I was sitting there thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. It's like, you know what? The only way I'm going to know is to get over here and do it, test it. If I don't like it, I can make these over. Right? So that's what we're going to do. So, I'm going to do one in Gilded and one in the Statue to see which one I like better. Right? So one of these is going to be recreated. And I'll do that off camera. So you don't have to see me redo it again. So how to use this. Okay. So this is the Gilded. We're going to shake it up really well. Now you don't want a fan or anything blowing on this, because this stuff dries really fast. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it on this little piece of paper here, and then we're going to paint it or however we want it. And what I want to do is just visible is brush strokes like that, in each corner, or these opposite corners, I think. So shake that up really well until you get the little ball in there moving. Come on. They've been sitting a little while. Come on. I probably should do both of these at the same time. Not waste time. Come on, dudes. So I was redoing. This reminded me of those shake barbells from like forever ago. There we go. moving yet. All right, that one's going. This one still isn't. Where's the ball? Here it is. There it goes. Must be some sediment at the bottom and it's stuck in it. See, that sediment's moved a little bit. So you want to mix this up really well. So you don't want to shake it a lot. Get that sediment off the bottom. If you're using this, you don't have to. This is just me going through this process. Okay. Now I did not do this on the original Grungy Folio that this is being inspired by, but things change. All right, so we're gonna put this squeeze a little bit out on paper. Grab a paintbrush, and we're just gonna paint it on however we want it. So I'm gonna do, because I want it to look a brush stroke, I'm gonna just put it on here and just pull it like that. You gotta work fast. This stuff dries really quickly. Like that. So then what you do next is you heat it up with the heat gun and it kind of turns it into like this metal, really metallic looking color. You know? And I think, I don't hate it. I think I went a little too much with this side. So before and after. All right, let me try it with the other one. Let's see what I think. And this stuff dries pretty good, so you just brush it off like that. Switch colors. All right, let's try it with this statue and be a little bit less aggressive with the paint strokes. I think we got it all. All right, let's try this one. All right, let's see here. Let's get this on there. And try not to press so hard this time. There we go. That's what I was thinking. More like that. And then we'll do the opposite side here. I want to do all four corners. Let's try it. Let's see. Okay. And then we'll do this other one. Okay. This one's still. What do you guys think? I think I like, if I'm going to do this, I think I like the yellow better, or the gold better. All right, let me go run it under the heat gun and see if it changes my mind, because I'm not really sure. It needs something, right? But I just don't know what. Maybe I go back with the stencil with the Foundry Wax, so it's the same pattern. That's what we should have done. Let me try that real quick. Since we're going to be remaking these anyway. Okay, so let me take this one over here. And I'm going to put this back on. Yeah, right there. Okay. And I'm going to take the Foundry Wax and go over the pattern in a couple spots. See what I think about that. Alright, let's try this again. Let's get the wax over here. I'm just going to rub it out. Like so. Okay. Let me go back to the Gilded here. Be very careful. Alright, I'm just going random right now. Just see what I think here. Maybe one right there. Okay, let's see what this does. And so we don't waste it, let's do some over here just to see. Over here. Right there. Maybe one right there. Yeah. Or maybe some right here too. And again, I'm just painting it on. And the trick is when you put the heat gun over it, it makes this really cool effect. Yeah. Okay, lift that up. Well, not very neat, is it? That's okay. It's supposed to be grungy. Alright, let me see. I don't know, what do you guys think? I kind of like it. It needs to be neater, though, if it's going to be stencils on there. Alright, let me put this to the side. Move this, move that, this, move that. Alright, I'm going to dry this real quick, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like. So, this is the before, okay? Kind of, it's shiny. Let me show you the after. Alright, you guys, I took it, actually I took both of them over to my heat gun, and I actually, take a look at it. See how bright it gets and metallic? Does that translate yet? It actually does. I actually kind of like it now. So, I'm going to keep it, as a matter of fact. Here's the other color, the statue, after the heat gun. I like it. Let's see how they look in the book. Alrighty. Let's go to panel 3 here. Open this baby up and see what we think. Open that up here. So we're going to have one here. Like so. And then one. Because it kind of matches this guy over here. Right? And then this side opens it this way, and we put this one this way. So that, I actually kind of like it, y'all. I'm leaving them the way they are. They're going in, just like that. Okay, I'm going to put these in, and then I'm going to show you how to do these without the pre-made, right? So let's grab our glue here. And we are going to make hidden pockets out of these, so meaning we're not going to put glue all over the back, just on the 3 edges, 3 sides. So we'll do a hidden pocket as a top loader there, which means I'm going to put my thumb where the edges will be, and then put my glue in, not going all the way to the edge. There we go. I don't want this to come up, so I'm being a little bit generous with the glue right now. Alright, so this is going to go here. Move this out of the, open this up so it's flat, a little bit more flat. Move my strings out of the way. And here we go. Make sure that's straight and stand up here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Just going to press this down here. I'm going to take a piece of paper, actually, and cover it, and then press down on it. I don't want to smear the wax or anything on my hands. The heat of my hands might, I don't know if it will or not, but it might. smear it or something. Okay. There we go. Let's keep smushing right there. And there we go. I think we're good there. Yeah? All right. Let's do this one over here. Is it coming up? I don't think so. No, we're good. And the same thing here. We're going to do top loader here. Trying to be generous with the glue here. Okay, put that over there. And I'm going to open this up so it's flat while I press down on this. Where's the thing? There it is. Okay, make sure I put this right side up. That's why I put my thumb or my finger where the entrance is going to be when I do hidden pockets, just so I don't mess it up. Alright, I think that's straight on there. And I'll take my paper again and just press down on that. Okay, I think we're good there. Give it one more good press down here, just to be sure. Here we go. I think we're good there. Yep, we're good there. Good there. Okay, let's check this other side real quick. Make sure the edges are down, the corners are down. Okay. Alright. So what do you guys think? I like them. I like them with that Foundry Wax on there. And again, you don't have to do this. I just happen to have it. I've had it forever, and I've been too scared to use it. So now I'm like making myself use the supplies that I have instead of buying anything new, right? So going out of my comfort zone, and I think I like it. I dig on it for sure. Okay, so that's those. Let's show you how to do those without pre-made, yeah? Okay, you guys, now I'm going to show you how to make these frames if you don't have the pre-made ones. Now, let me ask you a question. Can you tell me which one of these is hand cut and which one is the die cut? Can you tell? Can you tell? No, you can't. Well, just for just for the sake of which one is which, this is the one I did a hand cut. This is the one that I did with a die cut. Can't tell the difference. Looks exactly the same to me. Okay, this is what I'm going to show you how to make. Okay, so what you're going to need is one piece of 12 by 12 paper, a cardstock here, and you can make both of them from the same sheet, okay? And the measurements, let me get that for you. So we're going to cut these into 2 8.5 by 6. Okay? So the measurements, 8.5 by 6. Yeah? Okay. And the window, just so you know, for the hand cut one, the window, we're going to cut that at 4 1/4 by 3 3/4. Okay? Now you can adjust these however you want, but this is how to make the ones that match the ones we put in the folio. Yeah? Alright, I'm going to leave this here for you guys so you guys can see the measurements and write that down. Oops, stay down. There we go. Alright, what are you going to need? So let's do the die cut one first. And I'm going to actually need to cut this first. What am I thinking? Alright, let's cut this first. Now, okay, I'm going to bring out my new paper cutter here again. I'm not too sure about this one yet. This is the Tim Holtz one. I don't know about this one. I'm going to keep playing with it and see. Seems to be cutting a little bit at a slant to me, but, you know, we'll keep trying it out. See what happens. All right, so 8.5. All right. By 6. That's 6. There it is. should be the same size actually, so I'm just checking real quick. All right. Alrighty then. Okay. All right, next thing I want you to do is to go ahead and fold your paper, okay? So what you're going to want to do is we want it to be no wider than 3 3/4, give or take just a little bit, right? So fold your paper basically in half, and that should get you pretty much where you need to be. Okay, and you're going to fold this one over to where it overlaps and falls within that 3 3/4, right? Which would be right about here, right here. If I use this line here to there, all right? Just line that up. The edge is there. Okay, here we go. Just gonna take my tool here and give it a good creasing. Yeah? Put that aside. And then the same thing with the other sheet. Yeah? Okay. Right about there ought to do. Okay, now you don't have to do it this way, but we're going to fold at the bottom part, right? So there's going to be this part here, yes? Now you can either do it with a scoring board, that's which is I like to do it that way, so let's do it with the scoring board. You're going to open up the envelope here, and then we're going to score it at 1/2 inch, yeah? We'll do both of them that way. There we go. All right, that's all the scoring I need to do. All right, now for both of these, we're going to do some cutting here. So you need some scissors. So you're going to close this back up, right? And you're going to fold up at that 1/2 inch, the flap that we just made, or the scoring mark we just made, right? Then you're going to take your scissors, and we're going to do some mitering here to get rid of the bulk. So from the fold here, right here, you're going to cut at an angle towards the center, like that, on both sides. Okay, and it should look like this, right? Like that. As you see this way. Okay, so we're going to open it up, okay, and then from the fold here, right, we're going to line up our scissors, and then we're going to angle it just a little bit, and then cut to the peak of this little triangle here, right? Like that. Same thing on the other side. Go to the fold here, at an angle, and then cut, right? There we go. And do the same thing on the other one. So you'll have a shape that looks like this, okay? Fix this one a little bit. It's a little bit sloppy cut there. Here we go. That's better. Let's do the other one the same way. Just gonna close it up, fold it up at the score mark that we made. All right, from the fold, we're gonna cut towards the center at an angle on both sides. Open it up, and we're gonna cut these two flaps off, right? From the fold, angle it into that peak right there. Same thing on the other side. From the fold, angle it just a little bit to the peak. Okay. Now we're not going to glue it together just yet. We're going to do this one here with the die cut machine. So if you have them, I have these nesting dies and rectangles. This is from Infinity. I got these, or Hero Arts. I got these from Joann's a while back. But there's many different vendors that make those. So they're called nested dies, since they kind of nest in between each other in by size, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is take this. I'm going to grab some washi tape, which is, where did I do with it? Okay, and I'm gonna pick my size here. There we go, I think this is the right one. I'm just gonna measure here or place it for, yeah, that's the one. And then I'm gonna take some washi tape and tape that die down to the paper so it doesn't move as it's going through the machine. All right. Now here's where it can get a little fiddly of trying to keep it still while you tape it, yeah? All right, you're gonna position it where you want it as best you can. All right, and then just tape it down. Okay, let's see if it's straight. It's not. Just gonna move that a little bit. Still not straight where I want it. Okay, I'm also going to tape down the bottom of the frame, or the die. Just grab another piece of washi tape here. And hopefully we can get this thing straight. It'll sit still. There we go. I'm going to tape that right there. I think we got it. Pretty close. Alright, I'm just going to put this in here. Between the mats there and just roll it through. Whoa. Just peel that off of there. Let's see how it came out. And be very careful with the washi tape that it doesn't pull the paper off with it. Okay. This one here. And there we go. Okay. And there is our frame for this one, right? Put this aside and move this stuff out of the way. Tape, get off my fingers. Come on. Okay. Okay, and that is easy peasy with the die. Okay, I'll keep that for later for something. Now we get to the one that's a little bit more work intensive. And that's hand cutting. Yeah. Let's put this one together first. So what we're going to do is we are going to take our tool and just recrease it real quick. Since it went through that die machine, it kind of flattened out those folds. Yeah. And then just glue it together. Alright, so we start with the long piece here. And just a bead on both sides at the edge. Yeah. Right there. And then on the inside of the other flap. Yeah. Close it up. Okay. Okay. And then the bottom flap also, just on the edges. Oops. I think that's on the outside of it a little bit, right there. And just fold that down till it catches. Okay. And there you go, right? Alright, so let's put our acetate in there real quick. Get some more right here. And we're just going to cut it to fit, right? Or you can use the shattered glass like we're using on the other ones. But if you don't have that, you just have acetate. This is how I cut mine. Okay, there's one. And we're just going to slide this in here. Just like so. grab our glue and just bow this out just a little bit. Make sure it's all the way down. And a little bead on the edges here. There we go. And then we just flatten it down, you know? Careful with the glue coming out of there. You don't want to get on the acetate. It's kind of a pain to clean off. Make sure I didn't glue it shut. A little bit of glue here. Just wipe that off. Yeah. And there is our die cut one. Okay, easy peasy. All right, put that over there. With the other one, we are hand cutting this one. And what I'm going to do, since we cut out this piece of the die cut, right, I'm going to use it as a stencil for the hand cut one, okay? And all I'm going to do is place it here, yeah, and I'll take a pencil and just trace around it, right? So if you want to, you can take some washi tape and hold it down just a little bit so you don't have to hold it, trace around your hand. So I'm just going to get just a little bit and just throw it on the middle here once I get it placed where I want it. I think that's about right, yeah? Let's see here. It's kind of hard to see with black on black, right? Okay. I think we got it. So I'm going to put it right here. And just trace around our stencil here. Now I'm going past the corners because I want to make sure that I know where I need to stop with the craft knife. Right? I want that intersection there. Okay. Straighten this up a little bit. And I can always erase this, right? So that's why I don't really mind marking it up. All right, there we go. Okay, I'm going to just bring these lines together. Okay, now simply just take your craft knife, whatever you're going to use, and you also can use a ruler as a guide. I don't do that. I just don't. I mess up more that way than just doing a drag here. So I'm going to start here right at the intersection there and just pull it. To the other intersection. Okay, start at that intersection there, and then I'm just going to pull. Stop at that intersection. Okay, it's going to keep going around. All right, last one. Hopefully. And there we go. So I got it. Yep. Here we go. And then just go back over with your eraser, if you use pencil, which I hope you did, and just erase the pencil marks. Easy peasy, right? So don't stress. It's a lot easier than it sounded. Though I'm afraid we did eat up a lot of our time doing this, but it's worth it, I think, so to show you how different options you have, that you're not stuck with buying, you know, a die cut machine if you don't want to, or purchasing pre-made frames if you don't want to. You can make it from scratch pretty easily. I think I got it all. Yep, I did. Alrighty, same deal. Let's go back here and give these a nice burnish here. Grab our glue and seal it up. Yeah? Little bead on the edge here. Bead on the inside of this flap. Close it up. right. Here. And just fold it up. Like so. Easy peasy, yeah? Alright, and let's grab the acetate and do the same thing we just did. Cut it to size. Glue it in, and we are done. Let's use this way right here. Yeah, okay. All right. Just slide this in. Okay. It's coming apart a little bit. Let's do this real quick. Okay. Make sure it's all the way down to the bottom. And rinse and repeat like we did before. Just a bead on the edge here. Down the sides. And then just flatten it out. Okay, we'll flip it over and flip this out again. Make sure I didn't glue it shut. I think we're good there. And then there we go. 1, 2, right? One with the die cut, one hand cut. And they look pretty darn close to me. Yeah? Alright, I'm going to call it a video right there because we are at, let's see here, let me take the timer. We are well over an hour. I'm going to keep filming and upload maybe hopefully 2 videos for this weekend with this. We'll see. But I will see you guys in the next video. If you are new, please hit the subscribe button if you like what you saw. And the bell to get notified anytime we upload new content. I will be putting all the supplies that I used with the links in the description below. And let's see what else. We also, in the description, will have links to our Etsy store and to our Ko-fi site. Our Ko-fi site, we have some free EMPHMERA there for you to download free of charge. If you'd like to donate, you can, but don't have to. And I will see you guys in the next video. I love you guys. Bye.